Atlanta, Georgia, what's going on, man? We are live. We are live on Facebook and YouTube, man, on this Tuesday evening. What's going on? It is December, man, and we are back at you with a live. This time we streaming live on, like I said, YouTube and Facebook, man. And as you can see, man, I got my main man with me over there. Banks, what's going on, brother?
Leo, how you feeling, brother? How you feeling, brother?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. Talk about some ATL sports tonight, man. Talk about everything that's going on, man. It's a lot of stuff that's going on. Like I said, it's that wonderful time of the year where we just got a lot to talk about, man. So, hey, before we get into it, you know how we like to do it, man. So let's go ahead and shout out our boy out there, man, on the east side. Go ahead and tell them about our boy, Banks.
Hit my boy up, Phil, on the east side, Eastlands Woodworking Company. You can get anything personalized for your needs. As an example like this is a coaster right here with my name personalized and of my favorite team. Where you can do whatever team you want with anything you want on it. Christmas around the corner. Good gift. Hit my boy on that QR code. Tell we sent you.
Absolutely, man. Hit my boy Phil up out there on the east side, man. Get your orders in for Christmas. You need to get them in now. I got to see what the cutoff date is, man. So maybe on our next podcast, we'll let you know what the cutoff date is if you're trying to get your Christmas gifts for your loved ones out there, man. So, yeah, man. It's holiday season, Banks. Holiday season. Thanksgiving just passed, man. Hope everybody had a great and happy holiday, man. I truly did, Banks. How was your holiday, man?
It was wonderful. It's nothing like being with family. Be with the ones you love, man. It's you can't take it for granted. And I cherish every moment of it. I love my family.
Man, I was loving on that turkey and dressing and collard greens and macaroni and cheese and all that. That's what I was that's what I was down with, man. Yeah, absolutely though, man. Chilling with family is always good, man. But the food is always good as well on Thanksgiving. And like I said, people, man, if your house didn't smell like chitlins on Thursday morning, then it really wasn't Thanksgiving in the hood. So for real, you know what I'm saying? Nothing like the nostalgia of that funk and that stank from them chitlins being boiled on the pot, on the stove, little onion, little pepper. What?
No. Straight garbage. Okay,
Man,
that.
you
Look
grew up
here,
on it.
straight
You grew
garbage.
up on it. Little hot sauce on the chitlins.
Yeah, you on your own, no brother. You on your own on that one. I have nothing against people who eat it. People who watching our show, you eat it. That's on. More power to you. That would never set foot in this house. I promise you.
Hey man, we're in the South, man. So there's a lot of people still out there partaking in some of them things. Like one of my brothers on social media said, "We free. You ain't got to eat that no more." But hey, people don't care, man. They still look. I went past, go to, every once in a while, especially during the holidays, Banks. I gotta go. So I can't go to the big market stores like Publix and Kroger's. Every once in a while, I gotta hit a Food Depot up or a Piggly Wiggly because I gotta get some stuff that I just might not be able to find. You know what I'm saying? At the Publix or the Kroger's. So you know what I'm saying? I ran up in one of my spots that I go to down in the country for a little minute to get some stuff, man. And I saw where the little sign was for the chitlins, but I ain't seen no red buckets this year, man. So it's still some people eating them things for real. So shout out to everybody that was able to enjoy Thanksgiving, man, and enjoy all the food and all the family and the festivities, man. So look, before we get too far into it and talk about some sports, man, we'll do a fit check because we hadn't done a fit check in a while. I see Banks over there shining in this ATL Hawk skill, man. What's going on? Banks, froze up on me, or you still with me? What's going on? Are you on mute? I can't hear nothing you saying. All right, we having a few technical difficulties here, man. I'm gonna keep talking through it. We're gonna get through it here in a minute. We are like we had these technical difficulties. So
I had some.
Okay, you back?
I'm back. I'm sorry. I had yeah. computer acting nuts. Yeah, the fit check. Yeah, I'm rocking this. I thought this was pretty fun. I saw it online. It's the A and the Pac-Man, as you can see, and I had to scoop it up, man, because I was loving every minute of it. I thought this was pretty dope. Um, yeah, and then of course I got my Hawks hat on because I'm caw caw. I guess that's what we got to do around here.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know if you were calling the turkey or doing. I don't know what you were doing there, man. But yeah, shout out to them Hawks, man. You know what I'm saying? Look, on the fit check with me. Look, let me tell you something, man. It's hard. Like I tell people sometimes, man, it's hard to do this ATL thing, man. You know what I'm saying? And I do it. You can't really find too many people outside of us that do this ATL thing as hard as we do. And then when you find stuff like what Banks got on and what I got on, first of all, you see it. You peep the red. You ain't gonna find this. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna find this outside the city limits right here. You see this red ATL, this Dirty Bird right here. You know what I'm saying, on here. And then I got another something special for y'all, man. This is an exclusive. I got a Wade and Williamson jersey, which was a mashup that they did between if the Hawks actually used the Falcons colorway to come up with a basketball jersey. So I just let y'all see a little bit here, man. You can see it, man. It's ATL. I got 5 for my man Drake London, man. Another Wade and Williamson exclusive, man, on the mashup. Like I said, you can't find too many people that's going to out ATL us. Ain't that right, Bank?
Listen here, anything that has to do with ATL and the sports wise, man, I'm pretty sure we're gonna have you covered. Anything I see, any sport, even hockey, if I'm still trying to gather my stuff up for Atlanta Flames, because I thought those jerseys was the dopest ever seen. But I digress, man. We had to, go with the Thrashers, but them Flames, them Atlanta Flames. If you seen that A with that flame on it, bruh, holla at me.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we rep Atlanta everything, man. We gonna always rep, like I said, even the Thrashers, the Knights days. I got some Knights paraphernalia. I got Thrashers paraphernalia, man. We rep it, man. And you know what I'm saying? Is somebody said the other day, man, to me that man, you should be embarrassed to have that ATL stuff on, man. What's wrong with you, man? I say, listen, man, I might be a little embarrassed, but the thing about it is I care. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be prideful. I'm gonna represent the home team all day, every day, man. So yeah, the thing is, our teams might not be perfect, but we're gonna still rep them. That's the way I look at it. The bottom line.
We could be embarrassed, but we ain't gonna run from it. We're not gonna go hide and claim allegiance to another team, which is weak in itself. Do what you do. If you don't want to endure the pain, you don't have to. I guess that's the part of the society we live in. You can do what the hell you want to do. But in this is not just something to do. This ain't just something to do. This ain't something to do. This is what we love. If you love something, you stick with it, no matter if it's get on your nerves or not.
Hey man, and it's hard. And let me tell you something. I'm gonna be the first person. I'm the first person to tell you this, man. It's hard. We fight amongst fans. We fight amongst opposing fans. We have to go to put like this here. And I say this all the time, back. So we'll start talking a little bit about what's going on here, with our teams. But we can fight in-house all day about our teams, man. You know what I'm saying? We can talk about how, poorly some of our teams are doing, how great some of our teams are doing, and people will hear us fight, bick and bark about it, you know what I'm saying, to give our opinion. But as soon as somebody outside of his family start to talk about these teams, then it'd be a real, we can do it. We can talk about family. You can't. So it's a real problem, man. So we always love our teams and rep our teams, man. It's pride, man, all day, every day over everything, man. And that's what we do. So look, Banks, just a couple of notes here, man, before we talk about the Atlanta Hawks, man. I know we want to get into talking about what they're doing over there, over at State Farm, man. But listen, we got a couple of days here away from one big significant event that's going to happen in 2026, and that's the World Cup draw that's going to happen. I think it's coming up here on this Friday. That's going to be pretty cool to see where all of the countries end up in pool play, and actually, we'll be able to see where some of those guys end up in pool play playing all over the North America, Canada, United States, and Mexico. So that's pretty cool. Also, as the MLS season starts to wrap up now, the MLS season will start up here in about 81 days. So we're less than 90 days away from the start of the MLS season that's going to crank back up in February. Banks, is right into it. Also, we got a couple of days, about 90 days out from reporting for for baseball. They're gonna get ready. You know what I'm saying, down there in Florida with the Braves, man. So, like I said, this is that time of year where everything is kind of colliding with everything, man. So it's great to be able to look forward to everything coming up here pretty soon. So listen, Banks, let's go ahead and talk about, since you got on them Hawks and Kakan over there, man. Let's talk about them Hawks, man, and what they got going on right now, man, over there in the East. Banks, they've had a couple of games here or there, man, and they've looked pretty good here, man. Took a L last night, obviously, to one of the better teams in the East, Detroit, but the previous games before that, man, I want to say somewhere between like 7 out of the last 9 they had won, man, and they have been looking really good, and there's a lot of cohesion over there.
Absolutely, Leo. I guess I can go back as far as when I went to New Orleans. I went to catch them. They played the Pelicans down there at Smoothie King Arena. And when I say Atlanta showed out, we showed out, and it was good to see. I was looking at the body language of the Hawks players to actually see that we were there, loving on them and supporting them and let them know we had their back, and they responded perfectly. I guess you just had to be there. It was a couple of timeouts had, and they had their MC there trying to rev us up, talking about what not to do in Atlanta compared to New Orleans. And you don't say that when a whole bunch of people from Atlanta is in your building, okay? It turned really rowdy. The Hawks players heard it. They responded. We got the lead, and we never looked back. So shout out to the Hawks out there, man. Going forward, they had that West Coast trip. I think they went perfect. If I'm not mistaken, Leo, they was on the West, and they didn't lose a game. They actually have one of the better records on the road. If I'm not mistaken, I think they're like 9-4. I want to say. I might be a little off of here or there with the numbers, but I see you over there, Hawks.
9-5 right now. 9-5 right now on the road with the Hawks.
Okay, I see you. You're doing your thing. You're making people in the city pay attention to you now, to the point where it's like people are learning these players' names. And we haven't even talked about the one guy that hasn't even played, and that's Trae Young. Some people, it's kind of a mixed bag. Should we keep him? Should we trade him? Listen, I already said my piece about it. We need to keep the man. He is ATL. Why you want to mess something up that's not broke? I think at this point, you're bringing in Trae with what we got going on right now. I mean, Jalen Johnson. I mean, my goodness, dude. Can we be talking about MVP for this guy? I mean, could we? I mean, this man is paying up some stupid numbers each night, dude. He's flirting with a triple-double every single night. And I mean, this is without Trae Young now. This is your star. So,
well, you make some good points, man. Valid points, Banks here, man. But here's the question that's going to be the $1 million question is, okay, where is Trae going to fit into things when he gets back? Because obviously, like you just said, Jalen Johnson has literally put this thing on his back. So when Trae comes back, we know how Trae is. We know what he does. We know the shot percentage that he's going to take. I was just talking about this last night. Does Jalen Johnson dim his light for a Trae Young return and him taking, some of the shots off of his plate? I mean, how does that happen? How will we see this mix? Because these guys, let's be real, they played several games now without Trae, and I think that they're starting to learn how to play without Trae. Now, the question is going to be after this season, what's going to, how is this going to all pan out with Trae? But right now, I mean, I'm comfortable watching these guys play without him. And I love Trae Young, don't get me wrong, but I mean, there is some cohesion there. Defensively, they look good, man. Everybody on this team is pulling their weight, and especially Jalen Johnson looking good, looking explosive. Like you said, I think he's had a couple of triple doubles, almost had a quadruple double, I think, in one of those games. So, I mean, it's right now, it's good times, man. Shout out to the Hawks, and they're doing something. It's early on. The NBA is a grind, so we'll see how that all works out. I think we've been missing Kristaps Porzingis here. I haven't seen him in the last couple of games, so I don't know what's going on with him. But man, they look pretty sharp. Got a game tomorrow night down at State Farm. I'll actually be in the building for that one, man, against the Clippers. Got to be in the building for that one, man. It's gonna be Outcast night, so it's gonna be epic tomorrow night down at State Farm at 7:30, man. So shout out to them Hawks, man. Jalen Johnson, especially, man, looking good, looking beastly out there, man. The Great Barrier Reef out there doing this thing, man. The addition with my man Alexander Walker, man. you know what I'm saying, shooting the lights out, man. You know, the game last night against Detroit, I don't know if you got to see any much of it, Banks, man, but Detroit being pretty much the best team in the East right now, the Hawks went toe-to-toe with them and did not back down. I mean, we talked, you know, almost took them into overtime. They won a double overtime game against Philly the night before in the back-to-back, but, you know, they look strong. They've been holding their own, like you said, especially away. Did you get a chance to see the Detroit game last night?
I saw a little bit of it. I was at work, obviously, but I catch a glimpse of it. I was saw some different runs that the Hawks were doing. I didn't catch the end. I heard the end was pretty wild, but I looked at the final box score and I was like, well, you know, the way the Hawks been playing the last couple of years, you know, being a playing tournament team, you know, you'll take anything at this moment. You know, this more victories than fine. You got to crawl before you walk, you know what I'm saying? But right now, what I see is progress from even the previous years. What more can you ask for? You know, I'm proud of them.
I mean, I'm proud of them too. I guess my impatience is that, you know what I'm saying, we start to see a team that is going to actually, you know, compete. I mean, I still like where we are, but I want to get that feeling like, okay, they've turned this page and now we're going to be that team. Like, and we talked about this previously on another podcast, Banks, that we want that team to say, okay, hey, now look, we're the Eastern Conference Finals is the destination we need to be in, and we need to be looking at, you know, going into the conference finals against the winner of the West. So that's where I want to be. I mean, yeah, it's great to get into the playoffs. It's great to do things, man. But I think we're at a point now where with the Hawks, we need to kind of push the envelope, man, and say, hey, look, man, it's ECF or bust with them. But I think that they'll get there in due time. Like I said, with this core and Jalen Johnson turning into the monster that he is, I think we'll be okay over there, man. Shout out to them Hawks, man. Listen, Banks, wanted to get your opinion and talk a little bit about. Let's move over a little bit over to college football, man, and talk about the weekend that we had in college football. Obviously, rival weekend as we start to close the regular season in college football and move into now the conference championships here, man, and then the final 12, first time ever 12-team seed playoff in college football, man. But a little news that I want to talk about before we talk about the Bulldogs and we talk about the college playoffs and the college and the conference championships. Little news that happened here on yesterday that's going to shake up college football. And I don't know if you want to speak on it or know anything about it here. Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss to go to LSU. That's right. Lane Kiffin has left Ole Miss to go to LSU. Banks, this is kind of unprecedented. I mean, we've seen stuff happen before, but I just want to talk about this for a little bit here, man. Lane Kiffin goes to Ole Miss and has some good success there at Ole Miss. Actually, Ole Miss will probably has their, you know, first like 11-win season. And they're probably going to end up making the playoffs. And all of a sudden, LSU decides they want to dangle that carrot in front of Lane Kiffin, and he opts to bounce like a thief in the night. Your thoughts on Lane Kiffin and the climate of college football with what he's just, because a lot of people say he just opened up Pandora's box.
Listen, I have I guess I'm old school. You know, I always feel like, you know, say you start something, you finish it. Um, I'm not surprised about this. I mean, I don't understand why this is getting so much news. You know, Lane Kiffin, who's who he is, we've seen it when he was at Tennessee. You know, we've seen it when he was at USC. We've seen this before. It's not like, you know, this is a groundbreaking. You know, Lane Kiffin is going to another team. Okay, my gripe is, you know, you left Ole Miss high and dry. You know, they're probably in the best place they can possibly be in right now, and ascending up. And you left, like you said, in the thief in the night, and now they sitting there scratching their heads like, what the hell just happened? You know, and then not to mention, you know, LSU put that, which I think is a slap in the face, with the bonuses that he will receive based on their play in the playoffs. I'm like, what? Like, you're not going to get your pockets fatter on what we're doing, and you're not even here. You know, so I mean, that's I'm old school, Leo. I don't really have a feel for it, but I know that at the end of the day, like I said, what you start, you need to finish it.
I mean, yeah, this is what we're going to in college football, man. There's a lot of talk, especially now with, you know, what Lane Kiffin just did. And yeah, like you said, Banks, obviously LSU said, hey, you know what? If Ole Miss just so somehow happens to win the college football championship, we'll pay you your bonus that was due to you by Ole Miss, which is crazy to me, absolutely. But yeah, man, this is something in college football that's getting weirder and weirder because we've seen these coaches get fired. We saw Brian Kelly get fired from LSU, and then the buyouts. These buyouts are absolutely insane. They're negotiating these contracts where, not now 90 million with Lane Kiffin, 30, 40, 50, 60 million dollars. Then these guys are coaching 2 years, they suck. And then they buy out the contracts, the remaining part or portion of that. And so to go home, they're firing you and say go home, and then they still pay, okay, you $35 million. We're tired of you. Go home. I think Ed Orgeron got paid, something like that, something crazy when he left LSU initially with his buyout, man. I mean, this is insane. So, like, where's the accountability? Like, these coaches go into these schools, they sign these contracts and say, oh, yeah, well, if I suck, my buyout is going to be, 80% of what I'm due left at the end of the term. That's insane. Like, what's the incentive for you to actually do well there? Like, why? Like, the check is cash. If I lose every game, the contract that I sign, I'm guaranteed big paper.
It's basically it's no incentive to do well, like you said, and it's like you got this big giant safety net, to be like, if I don't pan out, it's payday for me. You know what I'm saying? And I can care less if I coach again at immediate future because I'm gonna be sitting pretty. Eventually, probably in a year or two, somebody's gonna come calling, and they're gonna start this whole process all over again. Yeah, it's weird to me. It's weird.
And not to mention, you were talking about loyalty and being old school. Not to mention, let's be real, Kiffin is going to cherry pick the guys from Ole Miss he wants to take with him over to LSU, which is absolutely insane to me because LSU is a rival of Ole Miss. So, like, you're going to have that tension there. I mean, it's really like, I had to look at the schedule and see if LSU goes to Ole Miss next year or not. But I mean, they might have to have a National Guard down there in Oxford when that game happens, man. I just think it's strange and weird, man, that this is happening in the climate of college football. This is where we're at now, man. We opened up Pandora's box. We started with NILs, which I totally agree with. The players needed to get paid the NILs, but there was never any structure with that. So once the toothpaste was out the tube with that, then that went kind of amok. And now this thing with coaching and Lane Kiffin, and I'm pretty sure there'll be some other coaches as well that we'll start to see get paid this money and start to just up and, like you said, build programs or be with programs and just leave like thieves in the night. I blame Bobby Petrino. But anyway, man, I'll move forward, man, to talk about UGA, man, and what they got coming up. So, Banks, listen, man, I know you didn't get a chance to make it out, man, on Black Friday, man, Georgia Tech and UGA and Mercedes-Benz. The first time that these teams locked up at a neutral site location. Can you believe that? 119 games played, and this is the first time they actually played on a neutral site. Is that crazy or what?
It is crazy. And I was under the weather. I wasn't feeling well at all. Speaking of family, I blessed one of my family members to go to the game. Shout out to my cousin out there. I heard it was a good time. I think the game was kind of dull at the but I think the whole atmosphere was something to be remembered. I think the actual being on a neutral site, having Georgia and Georgia Tech, which is you kind of think about it, like, we might have something here. Could we have this on a neutral site going forward, instead of home and home? Yeah, maybe not, but I think what was blessed for this particular year that Georgia Tech was having such a magical year, and it was kind of like anticipated, back in the middle of the season where Georgia Tech and Georgia is going to collide, possibly both teams only with one losses, and that would have been a bigger game, bigger headline, but it didn't end out that way.
Yeah, man, it was weird. There were a lot of mixed emotions from different fans. Obviously, man, it was a sea of red in there. I mean, Georgia Tech did hold their own, but I mean, Mercedes-Benz, I want to say it was a butt in every seat, and I want to say it was probably 60-40 UGA. And I don't know if you watched it on TV, but you could tell probably, on certain occasions that the UGA fans were in there loud and rowdy, man. So shout out to the UGA fans that were up there with us. I don't know. They might do this again. Like I said, it was a payout for Georgia Tech to do this. I mean, obviously, the weather was very, very, it sucked. So it was great for them to have it at Mercedes-Benz. I would have hated to be over at Bobby Dodd. I mean, I was going to make that trip anyway. I had already made up in my mind that this year, since it was going to be in Atlanta, that I was probably going to go over to Bobby Dodd and check the game out. But, I mean, Mercedes-Benz it's not a bad place to have a football game, obviously. So, you know, I'm saying, a lot of fun over there, man. Yeah, the game was a snoozer, 16-9. Let's get into that, man. This game Georgia needed to win this game, and they found a way to win this game. It was very boring. We know that rivalry games can sometimes be tricky, and we know that Georgia Tech, Brent Keys and Haynes King, those guys, they came to play. It's been 8 years since Georgia Tech has beaten Georgia, so we knew that this was going to be a fight. Banks, you know, I think Kirby got somewhere in this game and said, hey, we just got to get out of here. You hold Georgia Tech to all field goals. You're able to capitalize on some things. And sometimes, like I said, sometimes you got to win ugly. A win is a win. Nobody is ever going to talk down on you for winning a football game. Yeah, it was maybe some boring football, but hey, at the end of the day, you take that win and you put it in your pocket, right?
Absolutely. I was just telling somebody else the same thing, Leo. I felt like that Kirby had a little meeting, little private meeting on that sideline when Gunnar Stockton wasn't having his best game. And he probably told him, hey, look, let's shut it down. Our defense is doing a good job. Shut this down. We got nothing to prove out here. That hints on why the game was going the way it was going. And you was kind of scratching your head as wondering, like, why are we not being aggressive offensively? I really believe something was said, like, listen, we don't have anything to prove at this game juncture going forward. It's a possibility at the time that we could be in the SEC championship. And why go all extra? The defense was doing defense things. If I even said that correctly. But yeah, the look back on it, man, yeah, I think something was said to, like, go ahead, let's pack this stuff up. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you always play to win, right? You play the game to win. That's why you lace them up. I tell people that all the time. Nobody goes out on the field to lose a game. I mean, yeah, there could be something to be said by that. I know a lot of people will say, oh, I could beg to differ. Okay, I get it. But most people, I think, most logical guys to go out there and lace their cleats up every Saturday, Sunday, Friday night, whatever, you want to go out there and play that game to win. They end up getting the win. Like you said, let's talk about hit this here and now, moving into the SEC championship. Got out of that game unscathed. And it was them little horns down there in Austin that was able to send us right on into the SEC championship. That was a shock to me because I thought they were going to get boat raced out of the building down there by Texas A&M. But they were able to pull it out, man. This has been crazy, especially in the SEC with some of the parity, man. Were you expecting what you saw out of the little horns down there in Austin and pulling off that win against Texas A&M?
I wasn't surprised per se, but I was surprised on their reaction of Texas. They were like, I guess that was their highlight. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to talk bad about Texas Longhorns, but it was like you beat Texas A&M. Oh, okay. I mean, now what? I mean, it's like now you got a campaign for a playoff spot. I mean, you got Sarkisian out there already speaking on behalf of you, trying to make sure you're in the game. But again, it's the reaction for me. I recall when Georgia played Texas, and Georgia absolutely destroyed Texas. Okay, let's make no mistake about it. And the reaction was, well, I guess we can't beat Georgia, or we're not as good as we thought we were. That kind of mindset and that kind of talking, all of a sudden, to, oh yeah, we Texas, we here. Oh, absolutely, this is what we do. No, I don't think so. I mean, maybe okay, maybe I don't know. I just feel like it didn't sit right with me with the reaction of everything. Texas A&M, I mean, y'all had a good run. I mean, I wasn't sold on them either, but that's just me. But okay.
I mean, here we are. And you move on down to the Iron Bowl on Saturday night, Auburn and Alabama. And man, I have never, with every fiber of my being, pull and holler War Eagle. So I'm not even gonna lie, man. I was like, listen, because I despise Alabama. I don't think a lot of people know this. A lot of you all do know that I despise Alabama, Most of my family is from Lower Alabama, so always big Auburn fans down there. Shout out to them. I'm a big UGA fan, but I've always despised Alabama. And so I'm watching this game, Banks, and I'm like, you know what? Alabama looked like they were going to run away with it. And then all of a sudden, here comes Auburn. They make some plays. Now we got it tied. Now this is a game. We go into the third and fourth quarter, man, and it just, I guess the talent of Alabama went ahead and just final, riverboat gambler, Kalen DeBoer, they score on the fourth down, and then, Auburn couldn't get their footing to win that game again. I don't know if you watched any of that game, Banks, but I was pulling for Auburn, man, because I didn't want to see. I mean, I'm not. Let's be real about this. We're not scared of Alabama, but damn it, I don't want to do this again with them. I don't want to have this dance again with them this Saturday. But you know what? If they got to take a lump, they're gonna have to take a lump this Saturday. But did you watch the game, Auburn, Alabama, Iron Bowl, on this past Saturday?
I saw the whole game, and I wasn't really. I mean, I was just watching. I was neutral with it. I didn't have no dog in the fight, like I always do when I watch Auburn and Alabama. I have family too as well in Alabama. They're kind of split out there with my fam. They like Alabama. Some of them like Auburn. But again, I have a dog in the fight. I don't like either one of them. I feel like I knew what Auburn was. You know what they are. They are a lesser team this year. I knew they wasn't gonna pull that game out. They always find some way to lose. They will drop a ball here, fumble the ball there. Somebody's butt fell into someone's lap. I don't know, something stupid. Yeah, so it didn't surprise me at all. I knew Alabama was coming out of that game. I'm not to the point, like, listen, it's it's an Alabama Georgia game. What else is new? I mean, it's almost like in the SEC. It's like, yeah, you got the players, the teams that's doing well. Vanderbilt, who's surprising everybody. You got teams like Missouri. You got teams like
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. I mean, listen. You got teams in the SEC, but when you're talking about the game in SEC, you talk about Alabama, Georgia. I mean, it's no other two teams you match up until LSU come up, I guess. I don't know, but Alabama, Georgia is always going to be the game in the conference. So I mean, that's why I'm not surprised about it. Hell, after this game, who knows? In the college football plan, we may see them yet again. Like, it's a possibility. It's a possibility.
It is. It's a big possibility.
So my thing is, that's why I was like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Now we could talk about the game itself. That's a whole other story. But my thing is, as the stage is always set for SEC football, I think that's what they want ultimately is Georgia versus Bama. I mean,
listen, Banks. I think that this is going to, be a matchup. It's going to be a killer matchup. I think this is probably going to be the matchup of the conference championship weekend. Shout out Kennesaw State for actually also making Conference USA championship game as well. And the head coach's first year, I believe it is, up there at Kennesaw State. Shout them out. Shout out to Owls up there at Kennesaw State, man, for doing their thing. But back to Georgia, Alabama here. Listen, let me tell you something. I think I just read somewhere where Alabama has a 71% chance of making the college football playoffs if they win this game against Georgia. Obviously, Georgia has pretty much penciled themselves into the college football playoffs. And let's be real about this, man. Georgia is still the defending SEC champions. People just forgot that, we beat Texas last year and won the SEC championship. But so we're back in Mercedes-Benz again against Alabama. And I think that for us as Georgia fans, we felt like when that guy that's on College Game Day finally left Alabama, that we were going to get a reprieve. But I'm going to pose this question to you, Banks, and then we'll move on and we'll talk about some other things here. Kirby in Alabama, man. Kirby has exercised a lot of demons, and he has become the big bad bully himself. We talked about him in Texas and how Texas can't feel like they can't get over the hump. 8 years of beating Tech, when Tech finally felt like, hey, we're here now. Come on, let's do this. And we still can't beat Georgia. But now here it is with Alabama. Saban is gone. Kellen DeBoer steps in, and now he's still punking. They're still punking Georgia. I'm sorry. Let's call it what it is. Kirby is like Alabama is his kryptonite. Kellen DeBoer comes in, and it's like Alabama is still Georgia's kryptonite, man. What is Georgia going to have to do to pony up and win this game on Saturday, man?
I don't know, dude. I think it's mental at this point. Is no matter how good either team is. You know, I watched the last game they played in Georgia, and they had the game. If you just would have did one or two things differently, you would have won the game. You know, but it's always that one or two things with Georgia. It's never a team. The only time I've seen them actually beat Bama convincingly was the championship
National
game.
championship.
So, you know, you have to do those one or two things. And when it gets to that one or two moments, they like to overthink themselves. And there's always something to come back to bite them. You know, I was screaming at the TV when I was watching the game last time. Take the points, kick the field goal, tie the game, trust your defense. You didn't do it. You went for the win, and it shot you back in the butt. So I mean, it's just the little things, you know. And I don't think Kirby, you know, when it comes to I think it's just the logo. I don't even think it's the coach that's on the other side. It's something about that logo that Kirby he just overthinks himself. Like he really wants the game, but he just does so much, and it's just not cohesive enough for the team to like corral it all in and get it done. Listen, that championship game, we was gonna win that game by hook or by crook. Okay, we got embarrassed in that SEC championship previously by that same team, and you're on a big stage at that moment with one of the greatest defense that the country ever seen. We was not losing that game, and I
Absolutely.
saw it. I saw it in their play. They play. You know, it's like, you know, that's the kind of intensity you got to have when you play a team like Bama. You know, that was a team that said, "We're not doing this again. We're not losing to you again. We're gonna get our first championship in 40 years." And
And
then
they
it
did it that
happened.
night.
And it
They did it
happened.
that night,
So
man.
so my thing is, that's how you got to approach each time when you play this Bama team. You know, Bama team, they look at it as another game. Now, they might not admit it, but this is the game that will give them the most fits. Okay. I've seen them go out there and boat race other teams constantly. They even boat raced us 2 years ago in Alabama with only for Georgia to come walk them down. So listen, you ain't getting away from us that easy. We're equally matched. It's just
Yeah,
them little
man.
things, those just little moments. They just cannot get past.
It's gonna be some exciting football here this weekend, man. Obviously, a couple of notable conference games as well. I think over in ACC, I think it's Duke and Pitt, if I'm not mistaken. I don't no Duke and Virginia, right? Am I right on that, Banks? I think it's Duke and Virginia. You got Ohio State. And who is it over there in the ACC?
I don't know, dude. I
Come
can't
on,
tell you
man.
anything
Come
about
on.
ACC. I am so sorry. It lost me when Pitt beat Georgia Tech. I was lost at that point. I was like,
I
who's
want to
getting
say,
in
look.
now? I don't know.
So we are live,
I
man.
thought
If
look,
somebody in the chat can tell us, I think
listen,
I
I
want to
thought
say
it was
it's
SMU at one point. I don't
no,
know.
I think
I
SMU
don't
got
know.
beat. I want to say it's Duke in Virginia, if I'm not mistaken. I thought Pitt had a chance, but obviously I want to say it's Duke in Virginia. No, for a fact, over there in the Big Ten, it's Ohio State and Indiana. They're going to play that up in Indianapolis. So yeah, a couple of, like I said, Kennesaw State, man. So it's going to be some, championship weekend is going to be hot, but I think the headliner game at 4:00 on Saturday is going to be the SEC Championship, Bama against UGA, man. I'm not even giving no predictions. I'm just going to be ready for a good game. But we got to move forward here, talk about one more thing before we close this thing out, Banks, as we are live tonight. We are live. I know sometimes we stream these podcasts and we aren't live. We was like, man, we were trying to talk to you in the comments, man. Y'all didn't say nothing. But we are live tonight. So we'll try to bring some more live shows to you guys as we move on here, man. So listen, we got to do it, man. Got to talk about it. And like I said, we talked earlier about pride. Listen, we care, so we are prideful, man. But this is just something that is, at this point, it's just mind-boggling. We'll talk about the Atlanta Falcons for just a second before we close this thing out. Banks, this is just, to me, this is hilarious. And I know we'll talk about it briefly here because, I mean, at this point, it's really it's a moot point because, I mean, everything that could fall apart and would fall apart has fallen apart at this point. But the funny thing to me is, Banks, is that shout out to them beating New Orleans because obviously we got to beat New Orleans, right? You got to beat them. I mean, if it's going to be a bad season, at least beat them bums. So you did that. We still got them one more time as they come up here to Mercedes-Benz for the last game of the season, but you beat them bums. But this is where it gets crazy and this is where it gets strange. I think that we all kind of looked at that Jets game at the beginning of the season and was like, it's the Jets, right? It's the Jets. Now, granted, we didn't know all of these things were going to happen. The injuries, we know the nature of the NFL. We didn't know we were going to lose a starting quarterback in Penix. We didn't know we were going to have our number one receiver out. But it's the Jets. And God, the Jets literally have told the whole NFL that we aren't trying to win a game. Like literally, the brain trust of that organization is like we are really in rebuild mode. We got like 10 draft picks in the first round draft picks in the next 2 years. Like we've traded all of our stars away. I mean, they traded their best cornerback, arguably, the best cornerback in the NFL, traded him mid-season. Literally, Justin Fields bench. You know what I'm saying? I think Tyrod Taylor, who started, was coaching Pop Warner football last year. And he lose to a team that's really trying to lose. And I think that's what out of all the things that happened this season, Banks, that is what kind of broke me. And I was just like, man, we talk about, Falcons doing Falcons things, man, but just to lose to a team that is literally trying to lose, it's like, okay, we don't want to win. Okay, we don't want to win. And finally, in the fourth quarter, I guess Tyrod Taylor didn't get the memo and was like, you know what? Somebody got to win this thing. Why not us? When you lose to a team that's literally trying to lose. And that's where I think it broke me with this team, man. Like I said, shout out to them for beating the Aints. But the Jets, I mean, that told me everything I needed to know about this season. Banks.
Oh, listen, I've been saying this till I'm blue in the face, man. It's entertainment to me at this point. I hear what you say. Going back for the season, the schedule first came out. I hear all these people talking about 12 wins, 13 wins. No, okay. Listen, as much as I am very critical of this team, and it's always seemed like this team always somehow proves me right. They always find a way to prove me right. And I'm not trying to be a hater, but I always seek out the obvious thing about this team. If it's something that people don't want to acknowledge because of your fanhood, fine. That do your thing. But I, for one, I'm going to call it like I see it. And I saw it back in preseason, okay? This team is not as talented as we thought it was. Listen, we have a good running back in Bijan. Yes, we do. We have a great offensive line. It fooled me. We had injuries on front, and it was below average at this point. Receivers, I mean, come on, y'all. I mean, we had Drake London. That's it. I mean, I wasn't going to be sit there sold a box of turd about Ray McCloud. I'm just not doing it. Okay, it's Ray McCloud. Okay, this man was a third string for the last team he played for. What do you think he was going to do here? I mean, he's supposed to do, but he wasn't going to make no drastic turn to this team to be a top offense. The defense, kudos to them. We got a pass rush. We finally got a pass rush, but we still can't make those key stops. And for me, that's a wash to me. That's a wash. When you talk about, like you said, the Jets, Tyrod Taylor going down the field from the 5-yard line. Okay, not only from the 5-yard line, he was like second and long, and he converted and made it all the way down the field and scored. That's not a good defense, guys. It's not a good defense. I don't care how you slice it. I don't care who's on the defense. I don't care. Olbrich, that's trash. That is trash.
You're going to have straight cheats, man. Straight cheats,
trash, dude. Bro. That is straight trash. And don't even get me started on the special team. That I could talk about the special team in a whole nother segment, okay? I'm not going to even touch it. We know what they are.
Look, we'll come back at the end of this season, man. Obviously, man, it's a total wash. I'm now like, I don't know, man. I'm on the ledge, like literally. I mean, like I said, this is what I do. This is what but like to become numb and just to become like, you know what I'm saying? It is what it to me, like I said, it's at a point now where you look at all these things, like you said, I think we have a lot of talent, but we're not talented. Okay. We have a lot of talented players on this team, but we're just not talented as a whole. Then it's mind-boggling to see the difference between the offense with Kirk Cousins and the offense with Penix. There's just a lot of questions and a lot of just answers that I need to understand like what is like really actually going on at Flowery Branch. Like, because I'm at a point now where like I think that this whole franchise is like unfixable. Like, I'm really like literally wanting to tell, like, look, Bijan, Drake, you know, all you guys, you know, AJ Terrell, man, we're gonna put y'all in the portal. We're gonna put y'all in the portal like in college.
Run
and
while you
let
still
y'all
can.
go wherever you can, because y'all are in the prime of y'all careers and we're wasting y'all time. It's like, seriously, man. And here's the crazy part is, every time we think we're in the rebuild and we get somewhere where we're near a window to kind of open up to see what we can be, we fall right back into, no, we're not as good as we were supposed, we thought we were, and now we need to possibly look at blowing this thing up again. You can't keep demolishing the site. You can't keep building the foundation and get halfway up and then just blow the building up, you know what I'm saying, over and over and over again. That's what I feel like we're doing, Banks. We build half the building and then we be like, oh, you know what? This is, it's not gonna work like we thought it was gonna work. Let's just blow it up again and start all over again. I don't know.
Well,
I think it's unfixable at this point. I think this franchise is broken and unfixable beyond. Sell this team to Birmingham, and then when they have another expansion team, let them come here and we start it all over.
Let me say this,
man. Before we close this thing out, Banks. Last thing, and we'll close it out.
Yes, it seems like it's unfixable, but you can't build a foundation when you draft a tight end at 4. That's the first mistake. Okay. I always said, and I've been saying it for years, I know for 20 plus years, you build a team from the inside out. We have yet to do that. We always go for the flashy piece, and guess what? It always come and bite us in the butt. Tight end at 4. You just don't draft a tight. I don't care what kind of tight end he is. You just don't do it. And now we're paying for it. It started from that moment and it just trickled down. It trickled down. And it's like, when we gonna get what we really need? And then we're looking back at it, we're hoping, and where's the depth? And that's the key word, depth. Where's the depth on the offensive line? Where's the depth on the linebackers? Where's the depth on the corners? We don't have any because we keep going after flashier pieces. You know, that's why you have to blow it up. This is why, because you don't build correctly the first time. But yeah, we can close it out. You know, I'm gonna end it on that. And like I said, I'm going to always be a Falcon fan. I'm gonna always pull for them. But until they build this team correctly, we're gonna keep riding the same merry-go-round.
Banks, why do I feel like on Sunday before the game, you stand in front of the mirror and you say that before the game? Why do I feel like you do that?
No, I don't say that. And that thing is, when I go into the game, you know, I have a drink in my hand. I try my hardest to get on that Jumbotron, and usually I get on there. And when I do, I'm entertained. And I'm entertained, and that's what I told you before, Leo. This is entertainment for me. Yes, I could easily sell my tickets and then sit at home and watch it. Absolutely. But I'd rather be in the atmosphere. I'd rather sit there and watch football with no feelings involved. And guess what? It works out fine for me. I don't have a problem with it because I enjoy the settings of it. Now, people like to crash out when the Falcons lose. That's a waste of time to me. Why are you crashing out when you know what kind of team they are? There's no need to crash out.
Listen, before we close this thing out, man, I got to remind some people of some stuff. You know, as bad as we're having a time over here, man, you know, I definitely have to kind of remind those people down there how bad it is for you all. So at least we beat them.
Guess what?
We can put that banner up, and
I would never wear a pepper bag on my head. Ever.
We can put that up. We can put that up in Mercedes-Benz. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully we can sweep them bums. I always say sweep them every year, but for this time is really for pride. We're gonna end the show here, man. Like I said, once again, Eastland's Woodworking people, like, hit them up, man. Get your Christmas gifts, get everything from my man Phil over there, man. He does some wonderful work over there, man. Banks, let everybody know where they can find you at, man, before we close this thing out.
You can find me at Antoine Jarrell Banks on Facebook or Baby Banks 80 on Instagram. Or if you're in Mercedes-Benz, yes, I will be there. Catch me at section 122, and I will be all around the place, probably up there on the second level, checking out with Leo as well.
Hey, man, you can catch us everywhere, man, on social media, man. You can catch us Facebook, man. You can catch us, obviously, you're watching live here on Facebook, man. You catch us if you're watching live on YouTube. Also catch us over there on Twitter, and you can also catch us, you know, out here on Instagram and not like Bank said in these ATL streets, man. At the Hawks game tomorrow night, man. Falcons game on Sunday. Y'all know what it is, man. Y'all know what we do. Shout out to our boy Derrico, man, who's down the way, man, who couldn't jump on with us today, man. He'll definitely be back, obviously, for some future shows that we'll do here. And like I said, we'll try to do this more live and get some more interaction, man. You know, that's just what we do, Bank. So, man, yeah, man, it is what it is. So hopefully next week, man, we have a lot more to talk about. Hawks, UGA, soccer coming up, and also we'll see what dysfunction and how the Falcons will find a way to lose the next one, man. It's been another edition of the ATL. Another edition of the ATL 3 Style Podcast, man. We'll catch y'all next week. We'll see you.